Peace and blessings. I am Moon Goddess Ambrosia, the Fifth Force Oracle of Moon Goddess and the Healing Arts, as well as a Priestess initiative of the M.I.M.E.C priesthood and a instructor and facilitator within Synchronistic Hueman. And I am so excited to be here as Kin 181, the Red Crystal Dragon. And my affirmation reads, I dedicate in order to nurture, universalizing being. I seal the input of birth with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of space. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe Yo. And I'm really excited and looking forward to sharing the Cosmic Oracle reading of evolution for us on this plasma to bring in a new session. And so let me go ahead and jump right on into it. When it comes to the Cosmic Oracle readings of evolution, these readings are based on the Destiny Kin Oracle board. And so I have an image of that here on the right side, which shows us a 5-dimensional template for the 20 archetypes within the Zocan cosmology. And so this 5D template helps us to sustain our cosmic or divine synergy as multidimensional beings here on Earth and throughout the universe. And so how does this help us to synergize ourselves as multidimensional beings? Well, each part of the Destiny Oracle holds a specific characteristic to our existence. It consists of the soul, the spirit, the emotional body, the mental body, and the physical body. And so that's just 4 aspects of us being multidimensional beings, for which we have this tool to help us find out ways to make sure that we are operating in the fullness of who we are. Okay, so one of my favorite ways to dive into explaining what this looks like is by seeing ourselves as an astronaut. So when you discover your galactic signature, that is the energy that moves your body, that moves your existence. That's the reflection of the divine creator that you embody. And so when it comes to the energy, it is the energy that creates living beings and things. And so by seeing ourselves on the energetic aspect helps us to tap into our synchronaut mindset, which I like to call it, which the mindset of a synchronaut is looking from the perspective of seeing yourself as a living expression of divine synergy in motion that's here to remember your divine purpose and to consciously create as well as fulfill your soul's mission in all spaces of time. And so when we move in this synchronized mindset, we now know how to navigate and fully show up as who we are here meant to be. Okay. And so I do want to shout out Brother Akil for always doing such an amazing job with breaking down the 13 moon calendar, explaining why we want to allow ourselves to be open to the tools and the fact that we have this tool to help us to navigate and make sense of everything that we are experiencing from the day to day. And it also helps us to plan. And so that is really dope that we are now in the magnetic back moon, which is us focusing on knowing what our purpose is. And as I've mentioned, or I probably was just thinking, I don't know if I spoke it out loud, we are on the plasma celio. I know Brother Akil already broke it down for us, so let me talk about it a little bit more here as to how it pertains to the way that we're navigating through the blue heptad that we're wrapping up. And so when it comes to this blue heptad, we are tapping into the patience to transform the way that we conduct ourselves. So it's just like when we're listening to the prayer and it says, may wisdom be transformed into right action. The wisdom is transformed into right action by us practicing grace with the way that we've refined the knowledge and insights that we've came to up until this point. Um, so that the way that we behave and show up in our actions are aligned to the higher truths, and we're actively utilizing our wisdom to be in that alignment. And so throughout this heptad, we've been um, uh, going through this process of modeling the reflection of God in us, by doing things in a particular type of order, or just being in um, operating in such a frequency that allows us to attract the way that we bloom and show up in our divine essence, and upholding that awareness that we are divine. And so with us being here on the Celio, through us going through this journey and getting that insight and clarity, it's showing us how to, or it's also um, encouraging us to radiate in that unconditional love for ourselves to and from others, so that we can produce that magnetism as the perceiver and the receiver of our experiences, through operating that in the higher version of ourselves as a creator. And so um, this I'll say this, because I definitely want to get into the oracle reading. However, my mind is also thinking about the fact that this is the last plasma of this heptad. So being that we're having aligning with the cycles on the last plasma of the heptad, this is preparing us for the next heptad that we're coming into. So I want to encourage you all, or, put it in the forefront of our mind that every time we're showing up on here on Aligning with the Cycles, um in this cycle, as long as we are coming here on Celio, the love that we generate and the insights that we generate to produce this magnetism, we can use this as we step into the the heptad that is coming up next. So we're moving into the yellow heptad where the power ripens fruit. So I want you to keep that in mind as we get into the oracle reading, as to how you can tap into your power of your magnetism to ripen the fruit of your harvest. And it's so divine that I say that, because on this plasma, we are on the yellow magnetic seed, which is attracting that flowering. We want to bloom into all that we are and what we are seeking to create, right? It's just like seeing ourselves as a seed as well. We're this packet, we're the seed packet of divine energy that's looking to bloom. And so with that, the synchronized navigation maps just lays out the destiny oracle for the different cycles that we're in. So on the left, that is the kin of the plasma that we're on, kin 144, which is also a beginning of a new wave spell. So that is why you also see that in the far right. And then in the center, we are going through the yellow resonant seed year, which is kin 124. So we got a lot of seed energy that's popping off at this time, or on this plasma that we can really tap into. And so I'll shade to that. Okay. So when we move forward here, just to take a closer look at the oracle board, I pointed out where the yellow seed is on this. And so one thing that I like to say or mention is that if any of you take a look at the oracle board, the main thing you want to look for is finding out where your archetype is. And so, for example, with us being on the yellow seed, that's why I have it pointed out here over here on the right in that red castle or in that red box. And that's going to show you the archetypes that are all a part of this specific archetypes destiny oracle. So in the emotional body down below, we have the red earth. In the mental body on the left, we have the white wizard. And in the physical support body, we have the blue eagle. And so also notice that when you're looking at the oracle board, the kin or that box above that I'm getting a little tongue tied. The box that is above the archetype that you're looking at, those will be blank. And that is blank because it will alternate depending on what the galactic tone of the archetype that's in the center. And so that is why you'll see that's blank. And also why on this plasma we have the yellow magnetic seed in the spirit guide position when you look here on the right. And so, yeah, just take a moment to look at the oracle board to identify where your signature archetype is. And then you can also see what archetypes are a part of your destiny oracle. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and move forward by doing a quick recap of the yellow seed wave spell. This is the power of flowering, where we get to target our awareness to fearlessly question our divine intelligence, or to fearlessly question the divine intelligence that we embody. So it's just like a seed asking itself, like, what am I here to do? Like, what can I do? Like, why am I here? Like, what's my goal for existing as this seed? And so that is the energy that we're or the mission of the wave spell that we're entering now. And so to get into a get into more detail as to why it's named the yellow magnetic seed. Every part of the name holds significance. So the yellow is where the power ripens fruits, just like the heptad. The yellow seed, or the archetype known as the seed, is also known as the innocent. And again, this is the power of flowering that targets awareness. So it's so dope because as I was putting this together, I was thinking about, why is it called the innocent? It's just like a child asking questions like, why? It's the same thing. You know, sometimes we can get a little frustrated by a child asking us why 24/7. However, that's them expressing their divine intelligence because they have a question. And so, you know, it's some dope alignments with it. However, I want to also say that, you know, when it comes to asking those questions, know that that's what makes you fearless, is being able to be open and honest and bold and courageous to even ask a question. And so, getting back to this so I don't go too far off here. So we got the power that ripens fruits of the yellow seed. So the power ripens fruits. I'll say this: the power of flowering ripens the fruits of our targets, you know, through that awareness. And then when we integrate the galactic tone, which is in the center here as the magnetic tone, this is unifying the purpose to attract. And so we're unifying the purpose of why we exist as the seed so that we can attract the awareness to ripen the fruit. And so Ashe to us being on Kin 144, the yellow magnetic seed. So we're going to do the say the affirmation in the way that I've modified it to include the significance of the wave spell, as well as the time cell information. And you can learn more about that by taking courses through M.I.M.E.C and also through Synchronistic Hueman. And so with that, we're going to go ahead and read this affirmation just to bring in the full picture as to what the yellow magnetic seed is bringing forth for us to focus on this plasma. And so as I read it, I'm going to say we instead of I, just to knock it all out and at the same time, because we already done read the affirmation 3 times beforehand. So let's just review this. Ooh, excuse me. Hold on 1 second. All right. My bad here. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and read the affirmation. And I really want you to sit and really think and digest what this actually means. Okay, so the yellow magnetic seed says, I unify my flowering in order to target. So we're unifying the fact that we are focusing on flowering so that we can meet our target, right? Okay. So it says to target my divine intelligence by attracting awareness. We seal our informed input of flowering with the magnetic tone of purpose. We are guided by our own power of flowering doubled. So what this means is that we are really tapping into the fact that we are this divine, intelligent package of energy. Well, we have divine intelligence and divine energy in the seed packet of our existence, in the seed of our soul. And so we want to dive into the mission of this wave spell as far as flowering and blooming in that frequency. And so in order for us to do that, we have to target our divine intelligence so that we can be aware. So this is like also pointing towards being self-aware of what your purpose is and what you're seeking to accomplish or grow. You know, what do you want to ripen in your life? Okay. And so with that, I have put together a 1-line statement to hold the focus for us, which states, I am attracting awareness of my target as the flowering of divine intelligence. Ashe. Ooh, that felt good. So we're going to read it one more time here with we. So we are attracting our awareness of our target as the flowering of divine intelligence. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe Yo. And so that brings us now to the oracle reading for the plasma that's going to show us how to really move along with this focus. So remember, the goal is to attract the awareness of what our target is that we want to bloom by tapping into that divine intelligence, fearlessly asking questions, okay? And it's so dope because going back to what I said in the beginning, we are divine beings. So why not fearlessly question the divine intelligence that we embody so that we can bloom and attract the awareness to do it? And so that is basically what we're focusing on this plasma, is getting into that frequency and practice. And so the main frequency, or I'll say the vibration of the energy that we're focusing on, is unifying our purpose so that we can attract it, right? And so that we can attract our purpose and all the things that we need to succeed in it. And so with that, if you look above the archetype in the center, we have the yellow magnetic seed as the guide. So again, going back to the synchronized mindset, the kin in the center is you, us, as the driver. We're in the driver's seat. The spirit guide above that is like when we're turning on our GPS. So imagine yourself getting into your car or whatever mode of transportation, brings you joy to your heart. Imagine you getting into that. And as you're sitting there thinking about what your goal is, which is to flower and bloom, what do you need to set your GPS on? So based on this, it's saying to set your GPS on attracting that awareness of your target. So it's like, all right, I'm sitting in the driver's seat. I'm ready to bloom. All right, what do I need to know is the first thing that comes to mind to me. So that's attracting the awareness of the fact that you are looking to bloom. I'm attracting the awareness of knowing what your target actually is. And so one thing that can help us bring more clarity to what our target is that we can look down at, or we can look and reflect on our emotional body. And so here, based on the oracle, in the emotional body down below, we have the red cosmic earth, which is the emotional body is like the gas in our car, what's going to motivate us to identify or bring ourselves to that awareness of what our goals are. And so in the emotional body, we have the red cosmic earth, which is the energy of the energetic consciousness of evolving the way that we're navigating and taking flight and going beyond the power of synchronicity. And so when you sit in, looking at or start, as you focus on knowing what you're wanting to know what your goals are or getting that clarity to it, check in with your emotional body to see, okay, how do you see yourself navigating? Like, what do you want to accomplish? Like, what is the goal? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is the goal? Like, how do you see your life flowing, and how do you see yourself moving through space? Because that, by you envisioning that, like even just being present in where you are right here and right now, like what is the next step? Like, what do you want to do next? That also opens that door for you to gain that clarity to know what your goals are and what you're targeting to do. And so jumping to the left in the mental body, we have the white magnetic wizard. And the mental body is there to help you to overcome different challenges and continue to hold the focus. It's like strengthening your mindset. So we have the white magnetic wizard that is encouraging us to enchant being in timelessness so that we can attract that receptivity. So that's saying like, okay, take some time out of time to sit with yourself and be receptive to how you really feel. Like, what are your true goals? And by you asking yourself those questions inwardly, you're already getting into the mode of fearlessly questioning the divine intelligence that you embody. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what you want. Sometimes we don't want to openly admit to it. Sometimes when it comes to that, we got to let go of different things. We got to create new patterns of behaviors and get into a whole different mindset. So the wizard is telling us to overcome all of those challenges and be receptive. Be true to your heart and honor your intelligence to actually be in a position to accomplish those things. And so it's so dope that we have the white magnetic wizard in the mental body, because that is also a beginning of another wave spell, which ends off with the World Bridger. And the World Bridger brings in that energy of letting go of old cycles and patterns and surrendering to the opportunities that you actually want to take flight in. And so it's really dope. I really love going over the oracle readings because it's so dope. It just makes so much sense. And so with that, I'm going to go ahead and continue. All right, so over on the right side, which is the position of the physical body that's supporting all of the energy that we generated on the left side, which is the parts that's inside of us, right? We can't really see how we can't really see all of that. So the physical body helps us to put it out into physical expression and to bring it into that's, I'll say, this is where the matter comes in, or the materials comes in, or the matrix comes in. And so we have the blue magnetic eagle, which is also a beginning of another wave spell. And this is supporting us in the targets that we're focusing on, by helping us to get into that mindset of creating the vision of it. Like, what does it look like? What type of mindset do we need to operate in to attract this vision? That is what the Blue Eagle is here to do, to support us meeting our goals. So as you think about the way you're navigating and being receptive, you allow yourself to create that vision in your mind. And by creating the vision in your mind, it also helps you to start getting into the mindset of it. Like, what type of thoughts do you need to think? How do you need to operate? What does it look like to meet the goal? It starts bringing that vision to the forefront of your mind with that clarity. And so with all of that, when we put all of this energy together, basically it's showing you how receptive you actually are. Like, how receptive are you to unifying your magic to create the divine abundance that you envision or that you are targeting? You know what I'm saying? So be receptive to how you really feel, like, how do you really see yourself evolving and navigating? Like, what's your goal? Excuse me. Be receptive to what your goals really are. And this plasma is definitely going to open up you to see yourself differently just from that. And so that basically concludes the oracle reading. And so I want to close out by saying the affirmation one last good time here. We are attracting our awareness we are attracting the awareness of our target as the flowering of divine intelligence. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe-yo. And so with that, feel free to reach out to me, send me some love offerings, check out the website, whatever it is that you may feel called to in your spirit to do. Feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, there's different ways I'll say the best way to reach out to me will probably be via email and social media. That's if you just want to, ask me any question type of thing. However, if you are ready to receive your own personal oracle reading or receive your full galactic profile chart, you could go ahead and book that by visiting mghealingarts.com. And otherwise, you know, y'all know how I do. If you you already know how I do when I'm on here. I'll be sitting in the audience with my seatbelt on as HP about to come up here and drop her gems and all of that good stuff. And so I definitely send you all my love. And may that you all enjoy your creation in every single moment of now. And with that, Moon Goddess is signing out. In La Cash, I like Ken. I love y'all. Stay peace. Mwah.